Alright, so let's make the perfect bolognese pasta. And I'm going to show you how to do it all with under about 12 minutes. Contrary to what people may believe, or what Americans may believe, bolognese is actually not a tomato-based sauce at all. It's actually a meat-based sauce with a wine and beef stock reduction. So, today we'll make that right at home the most authentic way possible. And I'm going to show you how to do it right now.
To start, heat a large pot or Dutch oven over medium heat and add a little bit of oil. A heavy pot here is key as it will distribute the heat evenly. Next, chop pork bacon into small pieces. Once chopped, add the bacon to the pot and allow it to cook for several minutes. As it cooks, it will crisp up and render out its fat, which will create the base flavor for your sauce. Please do not rush this process. Let the bacon cook slowly to release all that savory goodness. When the bacon has crisped up, it's time to add the ground beef. Take out the bacon in the pot and leave the oil and fond behind. Place your ground beef in the pot and break up the beef with a spoon or whatever you have, ensuring it's spread evenly in the pot. Allow it to cook and brown for 5 to 7 minutes, stirring occasionally. This browning step is essential for developing the deep, rich flavor that characterizes a great bolognese sauce. So don't skip it. Once the meat is browned and the bacon is crispy, you'll have a flavorful aromatic base to continue building our sauce.
Now, when making bolognese, there's going to be 3 really important vegetables that you'll have to use for the dish. The first is going to be a yellow onion, the second is going to be a carrot or a couple carrots, and the third is actually going to be a couple celery stalks. Now, each of these offers a specific note for the bolognese. The yellow onion is going to offer a sweet aroma, the carrot offers a more earthy or hearty feel, and also the third is going to be that perfectly crisp and also fresh taste for the celery. So let me show you how to chop those up and add those into the bolognese, because we really need all 3 of those together.
Now that we've seared our meats and built a flavorful base, it's time to add the vegetables for our bolognese. Begin by peeling and halving the onion. Then slice it thinly from top to bottom and dice it into small, uniform pieces. Next, you're going to peel the carrots. Trim off the ends and cut them into small rounds or Juliette strips. Dice these into small pieces similar to the size of the onion. For the celery, trim off the ends of the stalks and slice them into small, even pieces, aiming for a similar size to your diced onion and or carrot. Once the vegetables are prepped, it's time to get them into the pot with all the rendered bacon fat from earlier. Set the heat to low and add the diced onions in first. Let them cook slowly, stirring occasionally for about 10 minutes until they soften and caramelize. The slow cooking will bring out the natural sweetness in the onions, adding richness to the bolognese. Once the onions are beautifully caramelized, add in the chopped celery and carrots. Stir everything together and let it cook down for 5 to 7 minutes, allowing the vegetables to soften and absorb the savory flavors from the bacon fat.
To deglaze our bolognese, we're going to use a wine. Now, typically this is supposed to be a red wine, but this can also be achieved with a white wine. Today, I'm going with a Cab, which is a perfectly dry red wine. So I recommend anything that is dry for a traditional sauce. But if you want anything that's sweet or something that's more, unique to your flavor profile, I'll definitely say go with a white wine. But me, I'm going with the red.
Now that we've cooked down our vegetables and garlic, it's time to deglaze the pot and build even more flavor for our bolognese. To do this, we'll use 3 essential ingredients: red wine, a good beef stock, and crushed tomatoes. First, pour about a cup of red wine into the pot. Stir with a wooden spoon to scrape up the fond and let it cook down for 2 to 3 minutes. Next, add about a cup of good quality beef stock, which will bring richness and savory depth that complements the wine and vegetables. Stir it in and let it simmer for a minute, then pour in a big can of crushed tomatoes. which serves as the heart of the sauce, giving it body, sweetness, and that signature tomato flavor. Mix it all together, ensuring the wine and stock are well incorporated with the tomatoes. At this point, before you place the pot back in the oven, add about a cup of milk to the sauce. Once the milk is stirred in, your sauce is ready to reduce. Place the pot into the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 45 minutes. You'll end up with the delicious hearty Bolognese sauce.
One of the reasons why I love Italian dishes so much is because it allows me and you guys at home now to make your own pasta from scratch. If you've never had your own pasta from scratch, I definitely recommend it because it's miles more fresh than anything that you can ever buy at the store. It's flavorful, it's faster to make, and also it's really worth the technique. So let me show you how to make the perfect homemade pasta right now.
Start by placing 1 cup of flour on your countertop or in a mixing bowl, creating a well in the center. This well is where we'll add our wet ingredients, and it's important to ensure the flour is spread out evenly to prevent it from collapsing when you introduce the eggs. Crack 2 large eggs into the well, then add a pinch of salt to season the dough, and drizzle about a teaspoon of olive oil into the mix. The olive oil will contribute a bit of smoothness to the dough, helping it come together easily. Next, using a fork, gently whisk the eggs in the center, gradually incorporating flour from the edges of the well as you go. As the dough starts to come together and becomes too thick for the fork, switch to your hands or a bench scraper. Continue to knead the dough, folding it over and pressing it down until it becomes smooth, elastic, and no longer sticky. If you don't have a pasta machine like I do, you can easily roll it by hand with a rolling pin, aiming for a thin sheet. Once the dough is rolled out, use a sharp knife to cut it into wide strips to form your pappardelle. The strips should be around an inch wide, though you can adjust it to your preference. Once you've cut your pasta, dust it lightly with flour to prevent the strips from sticking together. Now that we've made the pappardelle, it's time to cook it. Bring a large pot of salted water to a boil. For every liter of water, add about a teaspoon of salt. This is crucial for seasoning the pasta. Once the water is boiling, gently drop the pappardelle into the pot. Fresh pasta cooks much faster than dry pasta, so keep an eye on it. The pappardelle should take about 2 to 3 minutes or until it floats to the surface and is al dente. Now that both our Bolognese sauce and fresh pappardelle pasta are ready, it's time to perfectly combine the two for the ultimate dish. To start, take a ladle full of your simmering Bolognese sauce and add it to a large pan or skillet over medium heat. Next, gently add your freshly cooked pappardelle to the pan. And don't worry if the pasta has a little water left on it from boiling. This actually is very helpful. Once the pasta is in the pan, toss everything together gently, making sure the pasta is fully coated in that rich, flavorful Bolognese sauce. The key is to toss the pasta and sauce together until everything is combined and the sauce clings beautifully to the pappardelle. Finally, garnish the dish with a generous sprinkle of freshly grated Parmesan Reggiano. The sharp, nutty flavor of the cheese complements the savory Bolognese, adding an extra layer of richness.
And there you have it, my own personal favorite recipe for pasta bolognese. I really hope that you enjoy it for dinner, for lunch, or whatever else in between. Until next time, click down in the menu below to subscribe to the channel. Click somewhere on the screen currently to watch my next favorite video. And until next time, just remember, I'm still trying to figure all this shit out.